Call meeting order. All rise for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can we do a roll call, please?
Wondergem.
Here.
Vanek. Here. Steffes.
Here.
Gardine here. Campbell.
Here.
DeHaan.
Here.
Highboard.
Here.
All present.
Thank you. Please note, as a courtesy to members of the audience, the Board of Education, please silence your cell phone. Public will only be able to speak during public comment if signed up. Do we have any? Fair enough. All right.
Walter tried, I wouldn't let him.
Do I not have
I don't have any.
Oh, a packet,
papers at all.
board packet.
Oh.
You can
Oh, I will
Got it.
share with you.
First item, the approval of the agenda. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Support.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion passes. Consent action agenda, item number 2. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Support.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion passes. Regular action agenda. 3A, recommendation of the primary architectural engineering firm is recommended the Board of Education select GMB as its primary architectural and engineering firm. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Discussion.
Sure. So we did a request for proposals. We had the architectural and engineering firms that are listed in your board packet that applied, if you will. And we had presentations. We had a committee comprised of 10 people, including 2 board members. And after listening to the presentations and looking at the information that I put in your board packet and also in your board update of the different areas we looked at, it was determined that GMB would be the primary architectural and engineering firm. Amy, Brent were a part of that. You guys want to add anything, say anything about the process or anything?
Do you have anything?
I mean, we listened, there was 9 or 10 of us in the meeting, listened to their presentations, had their information ahead of time, and then we voted, and then it was clear cut on GMB was number 1 for primary, and Fanning and Howie was clearly number 2 on the numbers. It was like significant majority for both. Fanning, Howie, is it Howie?
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
It is.
They are newer to this area, but they do have like a local, it's actually a Grandville person that would be part of the staff that would support us, and another person in Allendale. So their office would be considered Allendale, but they have more of a national footprint and done more national projects, like schools around the nation. So it might be interesting to see what kind of information we can gather from them. And then GMB, obviously, just because they've been around and they are very familiar with all of our schools and the people and the staff and so on.
Yeah, I mean, I think with the other firms that we looked at, they were all, I would say, when we look at all the different factors, so the process they go through, some of the different supports they add, their fees, we looked at things like their error rate, so kind of where are you at? And they're all very comparable. And so when you take something that's very comparable and you look at the addition of GMB, just based on the institutional memory and knowledge of the district, that sort of, I think, adds, because to get somebody on board to really understand how the facilities operate, that ends up actually costing money. So that sort of was our take.
Mhm. And the idea of having a second firm to get new ideas and maybe overall improve service.
A little competition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little incentive there.
Any questions?
So
GMB was selected because of comfort?
I think I understand what you're saying. I wouldn't say it was necessarily comfort. It was that, at least, and keep in mind, I'm only speaking to my, sort of the way I interpreted it.
I'm looking for what you think the
yeah.
consensus of the group was, since you were there.
I would say it's the institutional knowledge, the knowing our
Okay.
buildings, so you could describe that maybe as comfort with them,
Okay,
experience with them.
okay. Do we not have architectural drawings that are accessible to us? I mean, we paid for them. So you've got a set of building codes, both state and federal, that everyone has to abide by. So when it comes to comfort, I would think, just because someone did some work, somebody else could do it too. For instance, if I said, I got to knock into this wall, GMB isn't going to say, oh, I just know what that is. No, they're going to say, let me look at the prints. So we're all going to be able to see the prints. So from that perspective, I question the comfort level, because if that's the case, the RFP was set in stone when it was placed.
The areas that you see on this board agenda are the things that we looked at. I think when you hear people talk about comfort, it's really the relationship, the connection, the understanding of what's been done, the institutional memory, as I think Amy said. With other people, you're building the relationships, you're bringing them along on what's been done. And I think not putting words in their mouth, but I know when I look at this, it's bringing people, it takes time, effort, and therefore money to really help people understand where you've been and the plans of where your committee that you've had all along, the things they've talked about, the how old something is, they can tell like that. And yes, you can pull a plan up, but when you have people that experience that, it's hard to replace that. And I think that's what they're, what.
Yeah, I mean,
what
I
you
relate
just
that to my
heard.
industry, because we obviously do work for some of our customers and aren't just repeat, and we do that, and there's definitely an efficiency that we provide, but then also we have vendors, and we try to bring in other vendors for competition, but when we bring in vendors, it takes time and money, time and effort and hours to get them up to speed for things that the other vendor already knows. So, I mean, that's the thought of having a second vendor for an A&E firm, is just to get somebody else up to speed and in the buildings.
Who is Nolan DeCreepers?
Nolan works our HVAC systems.
So he's an employee.
Yes.
Okay. Was there any thought to bring in somebody, Granville's a big district, to bring in anybody in construction management, just to get their input as part of this? Because when you look at the level of expertise on this panel, I'm not trying to criticize, I'm saying in my mind it's limited with that industrial commercial building experience.
I would disagree partly with that. I mean, I see what you're saying, and maybe we could have had somebody that was, say, in the construction field, but I know two people in this room right now that have spent a lot of time during this last bond in the construction field.
And I'm not
So I wouldn't-
diminishing that
I wouldn't
whatsoever.
discredit that. But no, we didn't have anybody from, we could have grabbed somebody maybe from OAK or somebody from the community that is in construction management. We could have done that.
So, thanks for the summary of the spend. So, and I don't know if everybody looked at it. So I'm looking at 26 projects on this spreadsheet. of the 26, 19 had to go into the contingency. Some of them are kind of rudimentary. So I know why we do contingency. I guess my expectation is if GMB is so familiar with this district, why they can't at least be under the original board award rather than always having to use the contingency.
And I'll take that question. So contingency is very complex. There are things going on throughout this district that are not board award approved. And when you have a bond issue and you have contractors on site, and I'll give you an example, it happened just last week. Building, I think it's outlined on the plan as building D on the transportation site. It's the current garage where Mark and Chris fix the buses. It's going to be a storage barn for us, but that's got 2 layers of shingles and it's been leaking. And when we had the big rain, it's leaking, right? So what do? We reach out to OAK, to Jacob, who's on that project, and we say, hey Jacob, like, can you get us some quotes on this? And that comes in under bid threshold at like $20,000 to get 2 layers worth of shingles off and get that barn re-shingled so that it's up to speed. So those are things that we are running through the bond. And we are running it through projects out of contingency. If we weren't doing that, it would come from either sinking fund or general fund. So contingency, it's not just a CM, architect, district spend. It is working together to kind of solve those problems that are out there in the field in real time. And like I said, I mean, we are very lucky, right, to have a sinking fund in this district. So that does help with a lot of those things as well. But if we didn't, and we weren't running it through that, you're going to run it through your operations, which, and I'll update you later, but it's not going to be feasible for the size of the district to always be able to do that.
Understand, thank you. So something that has been asked before, and now that we have this, as a regular process, if we can do that, is if we do a large amount, specifically in construction, it would be nice when it's done to come back to the board with what the total spend was, similar to this,
Okay.
so that we can actually see that. This is the first time I've ever seen this. And I appreciate it. I just want the complete follow-through, if we can.
Okay.
Thank you.
And that was a metric we did discuss with G&B in the meeting.
Good.
How long did that take? The interview process for all of them? How long did you two take out of your day? Like
4 hours, was it?
Overall, it was 4 hours here.
In the meeting, yeah.
I'm sure it was a lot. I guess my point is thanks for stepping in and doing that.
And there was another company that no bid, right, also?
Yeah, so Progressive A&E, I reached out to them, and they came back with, hey, thank you, but we're not really in that K-12 market. They're more university driven. And it had to do with one of the questions that we have in there is the bond structure and helping sell a bond issue, basically. And so the rest of the AE firms that bid had all of that experience too. But Progressive AE did not. So.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right.
One more question.
Please.
So we're doing this now, and what is Roger's vision like in the future? So, like,
Yeah.
when would we revisit this again if we were happy with Fanning?
Yeah,
Holly?
I mean, that's really up to this board.
Right.
There's no set time limit. We haven't put a
We have to
set
renew this
time.
every year, right?
Yeah, we haven't put a set time limit on it. I think if you have a primary and a secondary, you're going to get a better understanding, a little more of the secondary as well. But, you know, my hunch would be before you have the next major bond, which I don't foresee a major bond for some time, it's probably worth having that discussion and saying, where are we at with this? Are we going to keep rolling with our primary, or do we need to revisit?
Is there, how are you activating the secondary? Are you giving them specific projects? Are you
Well-
just going to have them bid everything you're having the primary bid? What are you thinking you're going to do?
We'll have, you know, we'll talk about that in a minute, but, because the secondary piece. that we'll be
Well, I mean,
voting on-
it's sort of
Well,
like
yeah,
when we do
they're
school of
kinda
choice.
linked, yeah, but they will have some projects, smaller projects, so that we can get a feel for the work, we can build the relationships, we can see how do they handle these things. Is it what our primary typically does? Is it different? If it's different, is it better? Is it, you know, what is it? It just gives you more, you get to test the waters out there and give somebody an opportunity that has a little bit of West Michigan right now, but really is quite new to West Michigan. It's a win for them because it gives them some exposure with some projects. It's a win for us because we get to see some work of somebody outside our primary architectural engineering firm.
Well, thank you guys again for your efforts and time. It's a long day, right? Especially have to get down to the work and everything, and appreciate what you guys did there. So, thank you. No other questions? Let's move to a vote. All those in favor? Yes.
Yes.
Opposed?
No.
Motion passes. 3B, recommendation of the secondary architectural engineering firm. It's recommended that the Board of Education select Fanning Howie as its secondary architectural and engineering firm. Can I get a motion?
Moved.
Support.
Discussion.
Okay, and as mentioned, Fanning Howie's new to West Michigan, but as Brent said, not new in general. They do a lot of work on the east side of the state, in the Midwest and around the country. The committee thought having a secondary architectural firm, again, gives us some exposure to them and to see what work others do outside of a primary architectural firm. At the same time, it's a win for them because it gives them exposure in West Michigan, which they don't have much of that right now, so.
So how big of a team do they have here? Is it just the
They
two
have a
people?
large,
Oh,
they
okay.
have a large team. They have, what they did is they hired, or not hired, they were employing a person who was in Indiana and brought him, he's from West Michigan, brought him back to West Michigan because they wanted to have, they wanted to be here too. And so they brought him back. They hired somebody who has some past history that is from Grandville. And he's a part of that as well. But they have an Allendale office. They have offices on the east side, the Detroit area, and like I said, around the country. So they tap into like the team they brought to the interview actually was from different places. They had different expertise from different places, and they brought them together. They were quite impressive, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I think they were impressive. I think it's just, again, it was a little bit less known, especially because, they didn't have much in West Michigan.
Did they had any major projects that they've completed here in West Michigan that we would know? Okay.
No.
And Carmel School District is
Yeah,
they're the primary,
if you,
so if you know that.
No, yeah.
you know that
Yeah,
district.
They're the primary one for them.
Yeah.
That
they-
is a very affluent, it's like
Yes.
the district in India.
And they had examples of things they were working on in Utah. So,
Nova.
Oh, Nova.
Oh, they do.
which was $500 million is
Yeah.
how much that bond is in Novi.
Was it, we asked the staffing and capacity, and did they have 30 people in Grand Rapids and Kalamazoo? Something like that,
Okay.
30 or 39?
I really like this idea. This is, my husband and I have done a lot of renovation, and we had a primary builder. Had another project that this one didn't have time for, pulled in what would be our secondary, and that one ended up being our primary builder for all the rest of the project. So it gives you a flexibility to evaluate and to move forward with whom you feel is gonna best
It
serve
honestly
you.
also keeps that first builder
Yeah.
knowing.
Yes,
that they have-
exactly.
Right, a little bit of
Yeah,
competition,
it does.
knowing.
It gives them a
I
little.
think absolutely.
Yeah. So nice, I like it. I like it.
Any other questions? All right, take a vote. All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Opposed? Motion passes. On to section 4, discussion. 4A, the budget update. My guess is we're gonna go to Heather for this.
Yes.
So this is not an amendment. I'm not looking for any type of approval for this. This is still a work in process. But I wanted to provide you where we ended the 24-25 school year. Our auditors will be joining us at the next board meeting with a presentation for you. We have finished everything that we needed to finish. We submitted all the required reporting to the state today. I know I didn't talk a whole lot about it this summer, but this summer our office went through a very large restructure from 6 people down to 3 for the summer, with people moving to different jobs and such. So it has taken longer than previous, but everything is good. The audit went well, and they'll fill you in more in a couple weeks. We did end the year at a deficit of $868,000. That was less than what we thought we were going to be, so by about 50-some thousand. So ending at an 8.33% fund balance. The proposed, we did a lot of work throughout the summer too, between negotiations, eliminating through attrition and whatnot. So, and then finally too, we finally get a budget from the legislature. Still some moving pieces of that, especially with the 31AA. Sounds like it's going to be better now. Sounds like they're going to work through that language. So I have 2 columns there because when I put it together, didn't know where we were going to be. But I think one of the major things that I want to share with you is if you look at where we ended 24-25 and you look at that state sources of 54.6 million, and I want you to think about what you've heard in the media and how great this budget is for schools, then how come, because the revenue is spot on from a budget standpoint right now. It's the expenditures I'm still working through, but how come I'm getting less this year, or we as a district are getting less this year than in the past? And I know when I brought the proposed budget to you guys, I had estimate of lower student count by 34, but as of right now, and we're still going through our pupil accounting audit, we're up 5. So it's not in count, it's not in property tax values. It has to do with what you're not hearing went away. So let me just share this with you. If I can find my cursor here. So this was, and I put this together initially when we didn't necessarily know everything. But the top section is unrestricted funds. So you talk about your foundation allowance, that's what the FA stands for, $10,050, that's great. But what goes away is some of that supplemental on the retirement side that we're not going to see. It's that normal cost adjustment for, is supposed to be at 20.96, but is not there, right? Like, those are the things that have incrementally gone up. So those are big chunks that aren't there. We will see an offset on the expenditure side for retirement to the tune of about 1.45% or $100 a pupil. The other thing, and it's highlighted, is 27L, and that has to do with some language that was built in around compensation to staff. So, well, it looks, great, $141 per pupil increase there. It's an in and an out. It's not a true just revenue. At some point, those dollars will need to be negotiated. That's how the language is reading right now. So jump down then to the restricted funds. 31A got an increase there, a nice increase, which is great because we can utilize that for some of our ML. We have intervention in there. We have some SROs are in there, some of our security. So that's great. 31AA, again, mental health and safety and security. Hopefully that language is getting reworked. You'll note it's $19 per pupil increase because the increase is over 2 years. So it's not just for 25, 26. They break it down, it's 300 million, but over 2 years. So it's 150 million for the state. 35A5, which is an early literacy piece, is going away. Section 41, an increase of about $6 per pupil, and then Section 51E has to do with special ed and an increase there. So overall, you hear $442, but what it really ends up being, and this is with unrestricted and restricted, is $290. I will say, when I did see this though, and this here, in my opinion, is a testament to the work that, a lot of the work that John did this summer as we tried to see where we could save some money without impacting our staff in terms of layoffs. So that 41 million too on the salaries line has the 804,000 baked in there. That, that's the 804,000 is the amount right now that they're estimated to give us for that 27L. So it's in the revenue and it's in the expenditure.
Okay. Very concise, thanks.
Questions? Appreciate it. Keep us in the loop as things continue to shake out, right?
Yeah, I do anticipate having an amendment to you. It'll be different than normal years. I think we're going to bring it before we go on to our break. Straighten out that.
And the auditors are next meeting?
Yep, the 17th. Yep.
Thank you. Any discussion on this? Are we good? All right. 4B, Troon updated policies, the first reading.
Shared those out with you guys a couple of times, and the vast majority of the things that are in there are clerical in nature, but obviously there are some things that have shifted a bit, and so just want to give an opportunity to ask questions. If I don't have answers, I can go find them for a second reading, but fire away.
I got some notes, John.
Okay.
Sorry,
Why?
Title IX is so long.
It is a long policy.
It is.
While you're sifting through yours, I'm going to pull my folder back up because it fell asleep.
Okay, 3115A.
under the definitions.
Yeah,
Okay?
under 17. And I'm just looking for clarification here. We have sexual orientation,
Yep.
gender identity, or
Yep.
expression.
Yep.
Is that due to the state law?
Yeah, the.
Okay, now you're fighting federal law, right? So how does Title IX,
Uh-huh.
how does the state law and the federal law, Title IX, come into play here?
Got it. We have both the obligation to follow Title IX, which is anything that's related to sex, race, et cetera. But then in the definition of this, they're pulling in the pieces that also fall under the Elliott-Larsen Act to help make sure that we're defining that both under the Title IX law and the Elliott-Larsen Act, which we're bound to follow under both sides of it. And if you look, the way that that one is written, they had things in parentheses previously.
Yes.
And so it's the same language, just taking out a parenthesis and adding in commas from what we had approved before. Because the only blue there is the sex, comma, sexual orientation instead of sex, parentheses, including gender identity or expression, sexual orientation, or pregnancy.
I understand that, but there's only a left paren, John.
So what's that?
There was only a left paren in there. There
Right,
wasn't the
I
right.
must have deleted the other one.
Okay.
Yep,
All right,
but it was in parentheses there before.
got it. Thanks, John. 5407.
Yeah,
So I got a couple things on this.
okay,
So under 5407, there is this form, 5407F,
yeah,
for the parents to be able to object to curriculum, and the whole thing is transparency.
correct.
So what I decided to do is try and find it on the website.
Okay.
And what I found is I couldn't find it.
You can find the 5407 on our website.
I tried.
It's not, it's a new policy because it's in response to the Mahmood and Taylor ruling that happened over the summer. So
Okay.
if you look at that's why it's not in there yet.
And that's
a new
fine.
policy.
And that's all well and good. That's great. Because what it called me to do is check out the parent resources area under curriculum and instruction. And the interesting thing on that is there are 4 areas here, 5 actually. But when it comes to the links, one link has got a copyright of 2006 or a revision date, and the other 3 are 2010. And I would think since 2010, don't you think after 15 years, some things would have changed? So it might be something we want to update.
You mean on our curriculum guide for sex ed?
For parents.
Got it.
No, this is just on the website, our website,
On our website, okay.
the links for parent toolkits. Last revised 2010. Make sense?
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's more of a Scott thing, but.
Yeah, but I understand what you're saying, yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay. Oh, under 5405, John.
Uh-huh.
It goes on. Would you also want to remove C? Because you've got A, B, C. You're removing everything. The only thing left in C is a partial sentence that says, and encouraging volunteer work at school as appropriate.
I'd have to find out why they kept that separate. That was their marked change. My guess is they were trying to separate the volunteer work and have it stand out as its own piece, but I can get clarity on that if you want.
Yeah, it's just a partial sentence, that's why I'm
Yep.
questioning it. And then, starting on the next page, it says, list additional actions, and there's quite a few of those, or list materials and training. When will those be filled in?
Yeah, that's part of the, making sure that we have a very clear understanding for our parents of when you come in and look at Title IX pieces, what does that all look like? And I didn't have that available when we put this through, so.
Okay. Okay, thank you. 5407F, this is the whole website thing. Uh, 3115, you already answered that as previous. Okay. 3408, firearms and weapons.
Yeah,
So under notice, the district will annually distribute the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services notice concerning the best practices for safe storage of firearms to the parent or legal guardian of each student enrolled. Explain to me why that's even necessary.
because we're required by law under the safe storage.
Did we
law.
actually put that in the handbook?
We actually send that to parents. I just did not too long ago here.
Yeah, he's sent it as a district email, but
Oh.
we're required by law under safe storage to send that out.
He just answered the question. Oxford. Enough said. 4221.
I'm glad we do that, by the way. I'm really glad we send that out.
When I'm looking at this, I guess here's my notes. Hopefully that's all going to jump to me. It says, is there any consideration to incorporate guidelines on display of religious, political, or social posters, messages? So I think I'm tying back into our guidelines, our district guidelines.
Yeah,
Is there any way, I mean, how long is this going to be active, Raj? Is this like permanent? Your guidelines that you came up with a couple years ago?
They're permanent until the board says otherwise.
Would it make sense to make this a policy?
We could look into that. True.
I just think reading this under speech, and it's so top of mind for everybody these days.
sure.
Is that somehow an incorporation into this
Yeah,
to some degree? Because I think staff forget about the guidelines at times.
We do remind them every year.
Yeah.
of
Good.
those guidelines.
yep.
Good, good,
Yeah.
good.
And our principals do a
Good.
good job of reminding them periodically too. In fact, I just sent them some information on how to do that well with the holidays coming up.
Yep. And then I got two more. I think this is under family medical leave, 4106. The earned sick time, ESTA, that's Michigan, correct?
Yep.
Got it. All right.
Yeah, it used to be the Paid Medical Leave Act,
Yep.
and now it's replaced by ESTA.
Yep.
And thankfully, we already had things in place that were in excess of what we were doing with ESTA, so we didn't have to change how we track things, other than to make sure that our employees, before, right, we had employees that were under 15 hours a week, they were not earning any accruals, because Paid Medical Leave Act didn't require it. Now under ESTA, they are, so.
Okay. Last one. 5421. In this, in the added text, there is an acronym, and the acronym is not described. It doesn't tell me what it is. Where at the beginning, you have WBL, which is work-based learning,
Yep,
but CTE is not defined.
I got you.
Career technical education.
Yeah.
Just need it in the policy.
Yeah.
I can add that in as an edit for us, because
Great.
it doesn't substantively change that, so.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, John.
Yep,
I wanted to do my due diligence.
I appreciate that.
Any other comments, questions? All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Jim. Thanks for doing the Tetris game this summer.
We moved a lot of parts.
Yes.
you did.
All right. On to 4C, 31AA funds. Back to Heather.
Well,
Oh.
actually, back to Roger.
Okay.
And Heather will chime in so just wanted to update you. As you can see, we did, and I sent you a communication this morning, changed your agenda because as soon as I sent the board packet out, well, not as soon, but a few hours later, got an update that MDE was going to extend the 31AA acceptance deadline to November 30th, which has taken place. So that gives us plenty more time, which is good. It sounds like the legislation is looking at doing an amendment to how this is written, and they're going to address the waiver of privilege and allow attorney-client privilege to remain intact, so I'm told, in all matters. And they're going to address what is determined to be a mass casualty event within the language. It was written with Oxford in mind, but when you look at mass casualties, when they talk about 3 or more, that could be a lot of different things. And I think, the history piece of Oxford and the state wanting to help investigate and then having not having some ability to be privileged to some things, I think brought this out in the 11th hour. And I also, like I had mentioned, I think in your board update, if not another time, most of the legislation did not know about this language. So it has caused some disruption, I think, from a variety of people. So I applaud them for taking a step back, for extending the deadline from the MDE side of things, and for the governor and the legislation to look at it and look at some things. The ironic thing about this is, if we gave up attorney-client privilege, and let's say there was such an event that happened at Oxford, the person or persons who would commit that mass casualty would still have attorney-client privilege, yet our school district wouldn't. That is just mind-boggling to me, how that language got into this budget, because it just, I can't wrap my head around that.
So they were trying to, in some way, have the ability to be more involved in the investigation? Is that what it sounds like they were trying to achieve? Joe, maybe you know more, Joe, than I
It
do.
it sure sounds like it. It sounds like they want instant access to everything that's available.
Yeah.
Well, I think the big issue for them, at least in its, I think you can use Oxford, but I think there's other examples of when you have something, a major event, a mass casualty, or something pretty traumatic. Sometimes school districts will buckle down and not always be transparent in discussing things. And so I think it's, from what I can understand, it's that balance of, we need to have answers. The state needs to learn like what happened here so that we can make improvements. But at the same time, right, you also have to give districts protections.
Yeah.
And so what I'm thinking is they were probably trying to, because I do know that there was the issue with Oxford, right? They would not allow a state investigation. So there's still a lot of questions out there.
So almost like an OSHA type situation, right? Where you have an
Right,
OSHA incident.
right.
OSHA can
It
have
almost-
full access. I mean, not
Yeah,
to that
right,
extent,
exactly.
right? But
Right.
all of a sudden you got to open up
Right.
and be, yeah.
Right,
Interesting.
right. And so
Okay.
I think it was like, how do we have this balance? And I think the language was just incredibly broad.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's so many sort of like when they use the word may, you're like, well, that means they might do this, but it doesn't mean they have to. And so I think that leads a lot of questions
Yeah.
about what could be those
I don't
implications.
think the language was well thought out.
No, I don't
And
think so.
the
I think it was
language,
quick.
My personal opinion, I'll say, probably would violate some constitutional rights. But I'm glad, I applaud them for taking a step back and saying, yeah, maybe we better look at this. You know, approach this different, look at the language differently and take some time, because we were all obviously under pressure to, I mean, with the time to figure this out. Unfortunately, we have more time now, and they have more time to, instead of a, you know, a snap decision in the 11th hour of a budget, to really look at it and try to make sense of it.
Did you have a chance to talk to other superintendents in the area? Same boat, or did they
Yeah,
have any
everybody
other?
across the state,
Yeah.
we talked about this, and yeah, it's tough, because, I mean, you saw the
Right.
budget.
Yeah, right.
We need that money. It's the difference between being a little ahead maybe there and being behind. And we need that money. Plus, we need that money for what it goes to. I mean, and then the ironic thing is, if you didn't take the money, and let's say you had to cut security stuff,
Right,
and then
right.
let's say something
be less
happens,
safe.
then you're in the same
Right.
boat. You're
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
so, yeah, frustrating. But anyway, I'm just glad I'm glad they took a step back. I applaud them for that, and we'll see where it goes.
It's a very dynamic opportunity to review state versus local control. It's the one thing that has been pulled from schools for so many years. And in this situation, they're actually putting a carrot in front of you to say, do you want to give up control? And that's the dastardly piece of this.
Yes, I agree with
But I think it also would have exposed us to like a lot of frivolous litigation too. It could have just opened Pandora's box in that regard.
Yeah, and then the whole definition of the mascot could be a bus
Yeah,
accident,
right.
right? I mean, and unfortunately, those happen, so.
Right.
Great.
Happened today in Ravenna.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, saw that.
So, any other items to discuss on the 31A funds?
Nope.
All right. Seeing there's no public comment, the next regular meeting of the Grandville Board of Education will be Monday, November 17th, 2025 at 7 p.m. at the Administration Building. We are adjourned.